Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV, another game of Interplanetary I Spy going on here. But actually today we're going to be going back over something that featured in this video, which I released a few weeks back, called Giant Moon Mining Machine Lunar Base Structures 2, Apollo 8. Okay, now this was there was a couple of things in this video, but I'm going to concentrate not on the moon machine as we've called it, but this particular anomaly here, which is a kind of a crater structure or a base structure of some sort that is pretending to be a crater. This is the video here. I'll just play that through a little bit just to refresh your memory on what it looks like. Okay, is that NHT? Yes, it is. Okay, and we have what initially looks like a crater when you kind of look at the raw image, but when you see the enhanced image, you can see it sticking up from the crater, and in fact it's not a crater. It's clearly some kind of dome-like intelligent structure, and it's very odd and has these very interesting details to it. Now I'm going to let this play through a little bit. Hang on, let's flip forward. We want to see because this goes into details about other stuff in the area as well. And I don't know if we get a real big close-up on that. I think we probably will at the end of the video. Let's go to the end here. As usual, yeah, here we go. Here it is. Let's go back to the raw image again. Let's let that play through a minute. Because you can see even in the raw Apollo 8 image that this is not just a normal crater. It's a structure sticking up from the ground on the surface of the moon, and it's very, very large. It's probably something like half a mile across. I couldn't tell you exactly. It's impossible to say because there's no real scale to these images when you get them from the Apollo mission pages or from Flickr like I did. And you can see it's sticking up. It's blatantly sticking up from the ground. It's not just a cone-like structure going into the ground. Okay, I'll let that play through a bit more because it does get closer. And my friend in the US, engineer Mike Zoetmulder, has actually sent me some really cool images of this. Now, this is the raw image. You can see these very pronounced diagonal lines coming down here and a light structure here. And you have this line coming around the edge here. And you have some details, upright details here. Now, you need to let your eyes adjust to the image, okay, before you can really see, but you've got to concentrate on these slightly darker areas. You can see structures in here, okay, and this is sticking up. It's not a crater, okay. So we call this the Moon Factory. Now, that's for want of a better name. We don't really know what to call it. It may not be a factory. It may be something else, but that's what we're going with because we can't really think of anything else to call it, okay. So I'll let that play through and enhance, and you can start to see these dark lines appear as the contrast is turned up. Okay, and you can see upright structures here. Now bear in mind this is about half a mile across, possibly even a mile. Couldn't tell you, but it's at least half a mile, I would say. So it's a fair size. It's over 1,000 meters wide. Okay, and now I've enhanced it. You can see these structures appearing. Okay, you've got uprights on this side, tube-like structures here. You've got this rather interesting thing right in the middle here. You've got a bright structure here, and you've got some interesting details at the back here. Okay, so I think that's it for this bit, and what I'm going to show you now is some of Mike's illustrations of this. Here's the close-up that he's done recently and sent me, okay? So, here we go. We have, basically, a bunch of stuff that he sent me in here, using his 3D illustration program. And first of all, I'll show you this because that compares the enhanced clip here to what he's done here. And you can see he's very carefully followed the geometrical shapes in this structure and kind of mapped them out using smaller geometrical shapes to build it in the 3D modeling program, okay? Now, that's not to say that all these details are exactly the same, because obviously the level of resolution in this NASA Apollo image from 1968 is not great. It's pretty good, but because this is quite a long way off, you're not seeing any great detail. So a lot of this is basically made up of shapes to make this shape, overall shape. And what that gives you is basically an idea of what it may have looked like, or what it might look like if you got closer and had a higher definition camera and actually got some real detail in the image, okay? So this is kind of making the detail that we can't quite see show better. And you have these window-like structures around here. I mean, this is a bit vague on this part of the image, but you can clearly see these dark lines which really stand out, and you can see these structures here. You've got these uprights along the side, you've got pipe-like structures over here and upright structures here, up here, okay? And this to me looks like a transformer. Now, we've all seen the film, the Transformer movies, great action films with some cool robots in. Is it possible that an alien civilization many thousands or millions of years ago landed on our moon and decided to send, well, basically decided to send a ship or a number of ships to our moon that transform into a kind of base structure? Now, if you look at this shape here, we have a hinge. This is hinged, okay? So this left-hand section here could fold under, and so could this right-hand section fold under, and this could fold towards us. This middle section here could come towards us, and these could actually fold in underneath, making this into some kind of flying saucer-shaped, flying wing-shaped ship, okay? Now, I know this sounds a bit far-fetched, but if you think about it logically, let me show you some of these other clips here. If you think about it logically, if you were going to mine the surface of the moon, rather than building something on the moon, like we're going to be doing soon, we're going to be using 3D printers to build moon base structures on the moon. First of all, you ship the 3D printers there, and you use the moon dust or particles or whatever as a material to build the base dome structures with, okay? Now, instead of doing that, why not build a massive ship, a transformer type ship, that could fold out into a base next to your home planet or on your home planet, and then fly it to a moon, land it on the moon, and then unfold the gear either side of the spaceship or whatever you want to call it, and then put your drills down into the ground, do whatever you need to do to extract whatever you're going to extract, whether it be minerals or water or whatever, helium-3 or whatever, who knows. This is a theory, I can't prove it, but it seems to make logical sense to me. If you were going to land on the moon and try and mine the surface, to build the machine first and just land it on the surface, and then deploy the gear to do the job we were sent there to do. Much like we do with the Mars rovers and the moon rovers that we sent there before. They are probes, they are robotic probes, they are quite small, nowhere near as big as this thing, which is probably half a mile across. But what they do, they land on the surface and then they fold out, like a transformer would do. That's what our probes have been doing for years on Mars and on the moon. Basically, the principle is exactly the same as that, but this is on a much, much greater scale. Of course, the Curiosity rover is the most recent one, where it landed on the moon. Obviously, the Schiaparelli robot failed, and there are rumours it got shot down, which I'm not too sure about, but that's a different story. But basically, these are transformer robots that are designed to fold out and deploy their mechanisms and gear to do the job they're there for, okay? So I won't go on about this too much longer. What I will do in a minute is I will show you an animation of these 3D images, how they were put together by Mike Zoetmulder, who's done a brilliant job, by the way. And he will be sending me more stuff. He's already sent me quite a lot of stuff, which I haven't published yet. I will get round to it. I've been very, very busy recently. And this has brought things to a whole new level, which is obviously taking a bit longer to sort out, okay? And some of these file sizes are quite enormous. So, yeah, there we go. So there we have it. I'll just show you that again, just to compare it. Now, of course, there's a lot more detail in this left-hand image than there is on the right-hand image. But the way the 3D program works is basically you have to put the 3D shapes together to make the overall shape. So what he has done is probably added a bit more detail than we can really see with the naked eye, but you can see, if you really look carefully, that these shapes are all there in the image. You've just got to really stare at it for about 10-15 minutes and you'll see them. So there we go, folks. Is it a mining machine? Is it a spaceship? A kind of transformer style ship that's unfolded and landed, or landed then unfolded on the surface? Has it been there for 100 years? Has it been there 1,000,000 years? 1,000 years? I couldn't tell you. Pure speculation, of course. But as I always say, when looking at images from other planets, an open mind is required, because one day our very survival may depend on it. Okay? Thanks for watching, everybody. Animation's coming up now. See you soon.